Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover Warren 20 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review. And this movie review is going to be for yet another. We are now down for once again another review in the Star Wars series because we are now down to two more movies in the Star Wars series. Clone Wars 2008 does not count, guys, because Clone Wars 2008 is technically a pilot to the TV series. So yeah, TV series and that Clone Wars films are not going to count because Clone Wars is technically just a pilot. And I don't really review TV shows, guys, but I like Mandalorian and Clone Wars the best for the shows. That's what I'm going to say. But anyway, this is of the two anthology movies we got. This is going to be for this next Star Wars movie review. We have now covered all three of the trilogies. Now we're going to cover the side stories. And our first review is obviously for what is the best of the two movies, and the best movie in the Disney Star Wars, and that is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Interesting story about this. When I saw the trailers for this, I was like, oh my god, really? Do we really need too many? We already just had a Star Wars movie last year. We really don't need to have that many. This was back when I stupidly hyped The Last Jedi, which I thought would be the better movie than this. And of course we all know I was proven wrong, as were several of us. And I saw the trailer for this, and it didn't look all that exciting to me. So, I only saw the first trailer, and I wasn't too hyped for this, really. It didn't really feel like... It seemed like it didn't really feel too much like Star Wars in a way. It just felt like something different, but I think the trailer I saw did not reveal who was coming back in this. Or I thought, because as I waited... So yeah, I avoided the rest of the trailers, and but honestly, avoiding the rest of the trailers was going to kind of pay off in the end. So yeah, I did avoid the trailers, but then around a few weeks before the movie was about to come out, I think my cousin asked me, "Are you going to go see Rogue One?" I was like, no, not really, but not too excited for it. But then this was accidentally spoiled for me, unfortunately, but it did still regain a bit of hype for me. He then told me that Darth Vader would be in this, so I was pretty excited for that part. That did give me a little excitement, so eventually, I think on Boxing Day, or the December 27th, 2 days after Christmas, went to go see this in theaters. Well, then I went to go see it in theaters again on December 30th for my sister's birthday, so I saw this movie in theaters twice. Wasn't really planning on seeing it in theaters twice, but the second time just magically happened. And of course, what did I say? I really loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm glad I didn't see the other trailers, because apparently all the other trailers spoiled Darth Vader. So I'm glad I only saw the first trailer and I avoided the marketing. It really paid off. And, man. What I really loved is that apparently not being too much like a Star Wars movie actually really worked, because I'm glad this movie, while it's still technically a Star Wars movie, it tries to go a different direction, doesn't just rehash Jedis again, it does something completely different. It focuses on rebellion soldiers. Yeah. In this one. And it's actually set right before A New Hope. So technically, this is kind of the beginning of A New Hope. But anyway, that being said, what is this movie about? Well, shortly before the events of New Hope, former scientist Jalen Erso lives on a farm with his wife and young daughter Jin. His peaceful existence comes crashing down when evil Orson Krennic takes and more of the stormtroopers that got formed at the end of Revenge of the Sith, since the Empire had just been pretty much formed at this time and Revenge of the Sith had passed. I think this was like a few years after Revenge of the Sith, and the Empire is now in full control of the galaxy. Takes him away from his beloved family. Many years later, and about a few days before A New Hope actually starts, Galen becomes the Empire's lead engineer for the most powerful weapon in the galaxy, the Death Star. Knowing that her father holds the key to its destruction, this now grown-up Jin joins forces with a spy, a droid, and other resistance fighters to steal the space station's plans for the Rebel Alliance. Yeah, that is the plot of this movie. And it just goes on from there. what I really loved about this movie, there was great acting, especially from Felicity Jones and Diego Luna, with several actors from both the prequel and original trilogies reprising their roles. So I liked that this movie united both trilogies together. It actually really did that. This movie even accepted the prequels as canon. Unlike most fans who seem to, unlike a lot of fans before, like the two notoriously bad Star Wars follow-ups that came after Rogue One, would make people finally accept the prequels and start respecting them way better. The movie's tone is darker than most other installments in the series. Well, okay, it's still less dark than Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith I still find way darker in this movie, but when it comes to dark Star Wars movies, here's how I rank the Star Wars movies that have the darkest tone. Number 1, darkest and most dark and intense Star Wars movie of all time is Revenge of the Sith. Second place would have to be this movie, Rogue One. And third darkest Star Wars movie would definitely have to be The Empire Strikes Back. Those are the 3 darkest Star Wars movies. Some great visual effects. While most of the characters are kind of weak, I will get to that part in a bit. K2 S0 stands out as a very cool and funny character. He's actually the most tolerable comic relief of Disney Star Wars. As I say, probably the only funny one, really. Of the films, anyways. The comic reliefs in The Mandalorian are also funny, too. Some good humor here and there, especially Vader's iconic line, "Be careful not to choke on your aspirations." And I'm going to get to Vader in a bit, guys. Excellent score from Michael Giacchino. Some clever use of unused footage from A New Hope for Lead Leader and Gold Leader, even getting the latter's actor Angus Matsine to dub over new lines for the character. It seems when all the characters, spoilers guys, well, okay, it's not a spoiler anymore. I'm sure all of you Star Wars fans have seen this movie. All the characters die in this movie. Well, to be fair, that's kind of predictable because this is technically set long before A New Hope. So, I kind of knew the characters were going to die in this movie. Like, come on. This movie's not supposed to have sequels. New Hope comes after this. But it's pretty saddening, especially Chirrut Îmwe's death, but I really like that about Star Wars. This movie actually had the balls to kill off all its main characters. Like, yeah, Revenge of the Sith killed off all the Jedi, but of course that was also predicted to happen. That was technically how the Sith became in full control, how the Empire formed. Jedi and Yoda were all spared. Anakin, in kind of a way, was spared, but Anakin Skywalker had died the minute Mace Windu died. So technically when he sliced off Mace Windu's hands, that's where Anakin really died. Pretty much where Anakin died there. Then he had pretty much became Darth Vader at that point. But anyway, yeah. And else again. Action is just as exciting as the main saga. The end of the movie really manages to sink seamlessly into A New Hope, as it ends right where A New Hope would start, with Princess Leia looking over the Death Star plans being stolen, given to her base. Yeah. And let's not forget, this was my favorite part of this. Darth Vader. Yeah, he pretty much... Yeah, not only is he awesome as always, he's seen towards the end where he single-handedly slaughters an entire platoon of rebel soldiers. Always will send chills down any Star Wars fan's spine, and it shows how powerful he is. He's still his intimidating self from the original trilogy, and I really love that he came back in this, and they saved him for last. You always gotta save the best for last. Like, he also appears as this cameo was being informed of... He's like being informed of everything. He was in that tub, that life support tub. Then, him coming back in this, finally showing his evil form, that red lightsaber, striking down all the rebelling soldiers. Very intimidating way to end this movie, but it still ends on kind of a lighthearted note, though. Now, yeah, there are some bad qualities here and there. Like, the CGI for both Tarkin and Leia falls deep into Uncanny Valley, but I can ignore that. The unnecessary faster pacing can make the movie hard to follow at times. There's a few small continuing errors here and there. Most noticeably, Mon Mothma already being depicted as the leader of the Rebel Alliance despite everything else in the franchise, suggesting it was Bail Organa who held that position before he died in the destruction of Alderaan. Some good scenes were cut from the original release due to reshoots by Tony Gilroy. Since, technically, which were done because of stupid Disney being unsatisfied with Edwards' gritty war story version. Yeah, fucking Disney! And while the characters have unique designs, they're kind of undeveloped and a bit forgettable. But, oh no, these are just supposed to be one-time characters. And I also did love C-3PO and R2-D2's cameo. When they're getting ready for battle, C-3 was like, they're going to this planet. Honestly, R2, why doesn't anyone ever tell me these things? So yeah, so it's good we at least got a cameo from C-3PO. In this, at least they still acknowledge, at least this movie still acknowledged his existence, even though we already had K2SO for that brief scene. But anyway, well, yeah, so where would I rank this Star Wars movie? I'd rank it about 5th place behind Revenge of the Sith in the original trilogy. It's the best of the Disney movies. Well, technically second best of Disney Star Wars behind The Mandalorian. I do find The Mandalorian, while they're not movies, but Mandalorian I like better than this personally. But this is definitely the best of the Disney Star Wars movies, and the only movie of Disney Star Wars that actually feels Star Wars-like way more than that Disney fanfic trilogy. Even George Lucas himself liked this movie more than Force Awakens. It was also the first live-action movie to not have the Wilhelm scream, and it's the 3rd time that Michael Giacchino composed a score of sci-fi opera film. First was a Star Trek reboot series, and the second was that really bad movie Jupiter Ascending, but this was, I think, the first time that John Williams did not score a Star Wars movie. Yeah. But anyway, that'll be it for my review of Rogue One, and here's how I'm going to obviously rank it. I am going to give Rogue One a 9 out of 10. And with that, we are officially done with the best anthology side story Star Wars movie. Up next is none other than... I forgot this one existed. Solo. I really have to do this. Like, I already had to talk about Last Jedi and Force Awakens. Oh, God. I really, really don't want to do this one. But I got to, otherwise it's incomplete. The next one is the final Star Wars review. Solo. Oh my God. Oh, it's gonna be fun. But anyway, that will be it for this review. Thank y'all for watching. And if you like this and want to see more, then don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.